Dirty Sports, episode 831, live on YouTube in 5, 4, 3. Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Andy Ruther, coming to you live from Chattanooga, Tennessee, with my co-host from Los Angeles, California, Joey No Chill Prano.
Hello, Andy.
Howdy, y'all.
Down there in Chattanooga.
Well, here's what's crazy. I'm technically
Okay.
in Whitwell, Tennessee.
Okay.
And here's something wild that I've never experienced. We are literally on the border of Central and Eastern time.
Interesting.
So
within the state, it changes.
Within the state, within the 2 miles, it changes. So there's a giant clock over here, which says Whitwell time, and a giant clock, which says Chattanooga time. So we're up in a mountain on the Tennessee River. When we go down this mountain, your phone will change in about 2 miles.
Wow.
Which is like, it's kind of weird because Chattanooga, the city, we're about 30 minutes outside, like 20 miles outside of Chattanooga. That's all Eastern time, but Whitwell is Central time.
Now explain to the DirtBalls and myself, because I don't know, what is the occasion? Why are you in Whitwell? Just to go to the Lookouts game?
No, not just the Lookouts game. We wanted to check out the Reds AA team, new ballpark, and just get away.
That's the Lookouts.
That's the Lookouts.
Okay.
My hat, my shirt, get away. It's Lookout Mountain here. You learn something. That's why they're the Lookouts.
Right.
So we're up in the Appalachian Mountains. Just wanted to get away with a couple buddies, middle of the week, right on the river. And it's pretty nice. We got this little my brother keeps calling it the Brokeback Mountain pad up here in the mountains.
Is your brother with you?
No. He just likes to make fun of me.
And you went to the game last night?
Went to the game last night. The Chattanooga Lookouts were playing the Mississippi Braves, which I find interesting. The Braves AA affiliate just keeps the same name.
Yeah, there's a couple different squads like that.
Wild game. The Lookouts win. The Lookouts game's 2-2 headed into the 10th. The Braves put up a 2 spot. The Lookouts win 5-4 on a walk-off single.
Wow.
They put up 3 runs in the bottom of the 10th. And the guy who did it, his name is Bird. BYRD.
Wow.
He's like this stoner looking dude from California. We loved him the whole game. He's a first baseman. He looks like total
I thought you were going
bro.
to tell me he looks like a character from Ozark. He looks like one of the birds just drinking his cup of coffee with 2 hands and staring out the window.
Brandon, you would have loved this dude. So he's their first baseman. He's been there for a while. He played at Cal. He's been in the minors for 8 years. So poor guy, he's not making it.
Yeah, love it.
Like you love it. First baseman, real long hair, total burnout looking guy. He became our favorite player throughout the game. And sure enough, they're down 1. The base is juiced. Bird comes up, smacks an opposite field line drive single. The Lookouts win. And
The Lookouts win. Look out, everybody. Here come the Lookouts.
And his girlfriend, we figured it was his girlfriend. There's an attractive girl. She had moved up. We identified the player's girlfriend section. She was dressed like a Dallas Cowboys cheerleader.
Nice. Good job, Bird.
She had a Cubs hat on, like a jean jacket, long legs, and like white cowboy boots. And we figured it was Bird's girlfriend because she moved. We were sitting 3 rows right back at home plate, and she moved up towards the end of the game, and she started video. And we're like, "Whose girlfriend is that?" Oh, it's Bird's. I love Bird.
Like, sup, babe? Sup? Sick jean jacket, babe. Where did you get that? Get a Forever 21 today? Sick.
They had something pretty cool, Prano. The team, one of their jerseys, and they were wearing it last night. They just say Nooga. Nooga.
Why?
Chattanooga.
Oh, okay. Nooga.
Yeah. So they just go short with that. But old ballpark.
Mikey, where's Mikey, who is now Dirty Sports? My brother. He's gonna be excited to hear that. He has a good friend named Nuga.
Really?
What's up, Nuga?
I see. Well, he the ballpark was older. They built in like 2000, but I don't know, cool little city, man. No big fanfare, which I found interesting, which you normally see at minor league games. They did some stuff, but we were discussing it reminded us of a spring training game. Crowd not really into it until the end, probably 50% full, but just people watching baseball. Nothing,
Love it.
nothing crazy, nothing wild like some of these other minor league teams. I mean, they do the stunts during the game, but nothing way less.
I'm assuming that you're not in an entire. I'm assuming the Brokeback House isn't. Not everybody's sober, right?
Correct.
So talk to me about the minor league Nuga, Tennessee Lookouts beer prices.
Very respectable. I believe it was. I looked actually. I believe it was $3 for a 16-ounce beer.
No. Did you say reasonable? How about like I'm moving to Chattanooga? $3.
Yeah. I think that's what it was.
Dude, it's $8 for a Miller Lite now in just like bars in Los Angeles.
How much was that Miller Lite beer last night? $3 for 16 ounce? He says maybe $4.50.
Still reasonable.
Yeah.
Ballpark beers, at the major league level now. Obviously, I was just at Citi Field. I don't know, $18 or something.
Yeah. It was very reasonable. You would have loved it, dude. There was this guy sitting in the front row. Talk about beers and eating. He was wearing an America jersey.
Just America.
Literally. I mean, this guy was probably 350 pounds. One of the biggest men I've ever seen. Just like, and I don't mean just
championship patches, World War I champs, World War II champs.
I was fascinated. We were giant
Vietnam co-champs.
Excuse
me, sir. Excuse me.
So the front of the jersey, it's a giant button down baseball jersey. The front says USA across it, and there's a giant statue. There's a giant Statue of Liberty picture on the front. The back name just America. United States of America jersey.
Yeah.
And this man was crushing the food and the lookouts.
Just going to town.
Just going to town. It's pretty amazing. I was very happy to see Miller Lite was present at the Lookouts game. The gentleman next to me drinking a nice cold Miller Lite. He was a Braves fan.
That's great. Honestly, if you're a minor league ballpark, there's so many minor league ballparks that, I'm not even really that close to getting all the major league ballparks. The idea of getting all the minor league ballparks is insane. There's just too many. So I'm absolutely limiting myself to only the ones that serve Miller Lite. If you don't serve Miller Lite, I'm not coming.
Yeah. No, it was great. I mean, last night was a perfect night for a game. It was a little hot. It was like 80, but nice cold Miller Lite. Again, the guy next to me, he was there with his girl. They were drinking Miller Lites together. I looked at her. The foundation
for a strong relationship, in my opinion.
It is. I looked at her and I said, it only has 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces. She's like, that's exactly why I'm drinking it. I was like, I'm glad you knew that. It's a delicious beer. It's not watered down like all the other beers. As we know, Joe, it's the OG, the original light beer. To get Miller Lite delivered right to your door, visit MillerLite.com/dirty sports, or you can find it pretty much anywhere that sells beer. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces. But to kind of wrap it up, an older stadium, I like it. It's an interesting city. It's just this, it's like I don't know, normal American city. But I dig these games. I don't know, Joe. Like, I dig these games. They're fun. You get to sit close. Take a guess what our tickets were. Third row, right in back of home plate.
$40.
$13.
What?
Yeah. Third row, right in back of home plate. $13.
Well, I mean, what does first row cost?
And that's a great question.
And then also, how are people sitting anywhere else? Like, what do the other tickets cost? People just getting in for $1?
That's what I couldn't figure out. So, like, in front of us, there were 2 people, and there were like 8 empty seats next to them. I don't know, but
maybe I have season tickets.
Yeah. Did you see the thing about the Reds running out of beer that I sent to you and Tug?
Oh, yeah.
So even when the Reds try to do something right, they fuck up.
Well, what's so sad about that is, like, I understand you do, if you do this promotion, unlimited beer and hot dogs or whatever it is, and you have 50,000 people at the ballpark. It's like, how do you stack 1 million beers for the day? How do you stack, 500,000 hot dogs? Right?
Yeah.
Well, there's what, 8,000 people at the game?
Yeah. I know, it's wild. So the Reds trying to get people into the game on Tuesday, they did $3 beers and $2 hot dogs. They ran out of 12-ounce beer. So the beers were 12 ounce for $3. So luckily they were smart enough to then allow the 16-ounce beers to be $3.
Nice.
I'll give the Reds credit. What did I say all along? You got to lower the prices. I'll give them credit for doing that. You just got to have enough cups.
Yeah.
But you're right. What is this for? 10, 11, 12,000 people? Maybe. Yeah. Again, my argument always is, why can't they do this every game?
Well, because they figured out the price point of what makes them the most money.
Sure.
And I understand that, but I always think that is that even figuring that number out is a short-term thing. It's like, how much can we charge per beer that makes us the most money? It's like, well, if we charge $12 a beer, this many people buy it. If we charge more than that, it greatly reduces the number of people buy it. If we charge less than that, more people buy them, but we don't make the same amount of money in the difference. But here's what I would argue. I get that. That's capitalism at its finest. Find that perfect price point. But when you go to a ballpark, let's say pricing the beers for $2 less, you make a little bit less money, but people get more beers and they enjoy themselves more. They're more likely to come back as a return customer 100%. and do it all over again.
Yeah.
I've talked about this before. There was a little deli around the corner from my place in Brooklyn. There was an incredible Brooklyn bagel spot. But I would go to the bagel place once a week. And I would go to the incredible little deli that did $3.50 breakfast sandwiches with a small cup of coffee every day. Every day. Because I was like, in the long run, I'm fucking saving money. It's like, how much better is the bagel sandwich? Significantly. But not so much that I want to pay for it every day.
Yeah, no, for sure. I don't think it'll change. But again, minors is kind of the answer. You see, and even just like, I went to the gift shop. I bought this shirt. I had this hat. Shout out to DirtBall Randy, who had sent this hat a few years ago.
Randy. But not Ruther.
But like, that's what I'm saying. Like, even the gift shop, like, this was a $25 baseball shirt. Like, to me, that's reasonable. Much, much more reasonable than if you went into a major league stadium and got a shirt. I don't know, but the Reds seem to be winning, which is cool since I left. It's like, I leave town, they start winning series.
Yeah.
Makes sense. But I want to talk some NBA. I did, full disclosure, I told you before the show, I did not get to see last night's 2 games because I was at the game and, out. The second one really didn't matter. I did get home. It was the third quarter, but it didn't matter.
So, yeah, but you get home in the third quarter of that
What
Warriors
happened?
Grizzlies game. I mean, out of the gate. Well, first of all, I think maybe the Joe Prano curse of not being able to win 2 consecutive NBA playoff bets this year. I've talked about this with everybody who will listen the past couple of days, including Tug yesterday, who I golfed with. This is killing my gambling year. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not even losing a ton of money, but like my whole gambling, circus tent is built around the NBA playoffs poll that is me making money. It gives me money to bet, late in the year, early, what I should say is early next season football games. It gets me through. I cannot win 2 back-to-back games. Crush it yesterday. Bucks money line and Bucks point spread to start the day. Tug and I were talking about it at golf yesterday. Celtics -5.5 for that game. It seemed crazy. We couldn't figure it out. I doubled down on both of those. And then I was like, well, Warriors only -4.5 to close this out without Ja. I didn't consider the fact that Steve Kerr was out with COVID, but -4.5. I hate to go back to an old dirty sports football spread joke, but 44.5. I think he meant 45. Was supposed to be Warriors plus 45.
What happened?
Insane. They out of the gate. They just the to this moment since tip off, the Warriors have not gotten a stop. Do
you think that's just, hey, we're up 3-1. We have a few games to close this out. We're traveling across the country. Our coach isn't here. It's just a complete lapse.
I honestly don't know.
Ja's not playing.
Yeah, I don't know, but you've gotta. I mean, I know it's 3-2 now, and I don't think that the Grizzlies come back and win this series. But if the Grizzlies were going to come back and win the series, this is how you would do it. You would go,
well, that's the thing. Like
hey,
you lose next game.
Yeah. Hey, fuck this team. They can't stop us. They can't stop us without our best player. They can't get a single stop.
And then they're turning the ball over nonstop.
Yeah, they're turning the ball over, but they legit. It was just guys driving to the basket, making threes, like just grabbing offensive rebounds. Like the Warriors just never got to stop. There was never a chance for them to pull closer because they never once got to stop.
Yeah.
It was over 3 minutes into the game.
And they've played 2 games with Mike Brown, and they haven't looked good in either game. And he just got a head coaching job. Of course, the Kings would hire him.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying these 2 games are 100% reflection of him.
But also, coach. Like, what are we talking about? Mike Brown,
such a retread hire.
I mean, no real great coaching performances. Yeah. And then this, I said yesterday, if I was Mike Brown, I would have left mid-game and moved to some place where they don't televise basketball.
Yeah.
And just lived out my days.
Sure.
With a big hat and sunglasses on, going to witness protection.
But the first game was good.
First game was incredible. Great game. Full meltdown by the Celtics at the end. I really don't understand. This is now a few games in a row or a few games throughout the series where they're putting the ball in Marcus Smart's hands in crunch time, like a lot, significantly. Now, Jason Tatum's in full, sort of Kobe, mellow, volume shooter mode. I think he was 12 for 30 or 14 for 30 or something like that. So he's scoring a lot of points on a lot of shots. But he made a couple of crazy shots late in the game. And you've got Jaylen Brown. I mean, sometimes I think you overthink it when you go what we're going to do, we're going to get it to the guy that you don't think is going to get it. It's like, how many games in a row are you going to go to Mark Smart? I mean, there was a lot of issues. I mean, they fully melted down. They were up 14, relatively late in the game. And I was like, man, I was sitting there going, man, my NBA betting is just like a curse this year. And then they come all the way back and win. Incredible performance by the Bucks to just keep it close and to take the game late. I mean, huge offensive rebound at the end, huge defensive plays by them, like as the game like seemingly was getting out of control. But all in all, like the Celtics also just had to blow it.
Yeah.
I mean, Giannis goes for 40. Drew Holiday with a huge block and then a huge steal and another huge steal, like all like late in the game. I mean, Drew Holiday, I don't know. I mean, the third best player in this series at this point.
Are they getting Middleton back if they advance?
I don't know. I don't know his status. They're going to need him back. Although you look around right now, who doesn't look kind of suspect?
Yeah, no one's dominated this playoffs.
This is what's, I think, making my gambling fall apart here. Is like, it's not even, forget dominate. There's not even a team that you really have confidence in on any given night.
Yeah.
The Warriors just lost by 50 points.
Yeah, I would have said them. Miami obviously has been very hit or miss. Now Miami waxed them the other night.
Yeah, but then does Miami win tonight? How do you beat a team by 50? Again, another team, you beat them by 40 points going into tonight. I don't even know if they win the game.
Yeah.
I mean, what was the final? Yeah, they won by 35.
Yeah.
And tonight, Philadelphia is a 2-point favorite.
Sure. No, exactly. Blowout or close game. And then the Suns.
I mean, which team left do you have the most confidence in?
I would have said the Warriors. Maybe the Bucks now.
I would say the Bucks simply because they're in the hardest. That they have the toughest matchup right now. They're up 3-2. Their backs against the wall. They're coming back from, they're coming back late in games. Because the Warriors, dude, you can't look like that. I'll just straight up say it. Like, I don't really think that you're a championship contender if you can lose a game like that.
Even though it's just one game.
It's just one game without the other team's star player when you have them down 3-1.
But again, they played well this season. They were 20-5 without Ja Morant.
Yeah, I know. Okay, 20-5 without Ja Morant is different than winning a game by losing a game by 40.
Sure.
If you're the Warriors in a series where you just played this team 4 games in a row.
Yeah.
It's not like, 20-5, they beat up on the Kings and they beat up on, whatever. You go around the league, you get guys on back-to-backs, you get whatever. Like, yeah, they're a good team, no doubt about it. I mean, they're the 2 seed.
What did the TNT crew? Did they have to say anything about that game?
I didn't watch any post game. I was out at a bar.
I can only imagine.
I was out at a bar watching all the games, watching some baseball, watching some hockey, watching some hoops.
Oh, hockey in Joe Prano's life, huh?
Well, a lot of my friends are Rangers fans. And I was going
to say, I have no clue. I literally have no clue who's what seed. I'm so out of the hockey loop. I couldn't tell you a single team who's in the playoffs.
My favorite thing about hockey, and I tweeted this last night, and obviously this has always been a thing, but I feel like it's like just next level now, is these guys are on sharpened blades, basically skating fully out of control, just sliding around out of control the whole game. But the second the goalie gets the puck, if somebody 40 feet away slides in the direction of the goalie, a small bar fight breaks out. It's like unbelievable. They're all whacking each other with sticks. You can punch the goalie or whatever, but once the whistle blows, they all do this thing. It's such a tough guy at the club thing. You want to go? You want to go? You want to go? Like, okay. We do this every time there's a puck stoppage by the goalie.
Where are we at in the hockey playoffs? What round?
First round.
Just in the first round.
Yeah.
Who's the favorite?
Look who you're talking to, Andy. Who's the favorite? I have no idea. I mean, the best teams in both the Florida Panthers had the most points in the Eastern Conference, and the Colorado Avalanche the most in the West. I mean,
who won last year? Tampa?
Sure. Should we get a hockey correspondent on the phone?
No.
Well, I'm putting out a call. Hockey correspondents.
I did get a direct message from Jacob Faith recently.
Oh, how's he doing?
It's good. Former DirtBall hockey correspondent who got a tattoo of Dirty Sports on his ass and then has since removed it.
Yeah.
That to me is like the evolution of a human.
Yeah.
Like maturing. He's like, hey, I got the DS logo, the old logo, by the way, the shittiest logo we've ever had.
Yeah.
Like the original. He got that on his ass and he got it removed. Like we're watching him grow as a man. And I heard he's going to be handling the accounting for Dirty Sports soon. So it's like the evolution of his.
I feel like we need to take the logo to the next level. I feel like we need a interlocking DNS, and maybe our only merch should just be like DS fitted hats, like real proper baseball hats. I could rock a DS fitted.
Yeah. That's what you need, more hats.
I'm going to look into this. Oh, tell me about it. So many goddamn hats.
Like, do you have hats you haven't worn forever? And you're like, why do I have these?
I have hats that I haven't worn forever, but no hats do I go, why do I have these?
None. Not a single hat you say I should just give this to the poor.
I think I've given away some hats over the. I mean, I know I've given away some hats over the years. A few years ago, I think I put 12 or 15 hats in a box and shipped them to my nephew. And it was just like, these are out of the rotation.
Wow. So you're it's like a family gift going through the lineage.
Yeah.
I will gift you these hats. I had a hat stolen from me in Mexico when I was there for spring break. One of the wildest things that ever happened. On the top of my head, he just yanked it off and took off.
What kind of hat was it?
It was a company that I don't want to mention by name, an alcohol company. It's a fitted hat. They are based in St. Louis, Missouri. It was like a good drinking hat.
Fuck that hat.
Yeah, I agree.
And you've been better for it ever since.
He stole it off the top of my head and took off like into the woods or wherever. This is one of those.
This was like a spring breaker dude, or this was like a cartel member?
This was like a cartel member. So it was one of those drinking island things where you'd hop on a boat. I was in Mazatlan, Mexico, and you go to an island and they do all those stunts. And like, I think I've told this story. One of the things was you'd hang from a bar and see how long they could get you to not hang. And literally a girl just started going down on a guy. Like, I'll get him to stop hanging. Literally, we were like, are we watching this? Like, that was her move instantly. It was like, hey, you think you can hang long enough if I start sucking you off? And it was on that island because there was, some trees and like an enclosed area. And it was like, by that, we were kind of just walking around, me and my buddies. This dude came out of nowhere, took the hat and just bolted into the brush. Like an Aborigine took my hat and just took off.
Aborigine.
Would that be a technical title?
Sure.
Is that reserved strictly for Australia?
I think so.
Okay, so I'm wrong in saying that. What do you think the locals thought? Like, what are these white spring breakers doing? Wait, this guy's hanging from the monkey bars getting a blowjob. Like, what are they thinking?
They're probably like, "Yep, spring break again." Today we steal 100 hats. Tomorrow we start our Etsy store.
You know what was pretty wild about the game?
Who are you trying to get crazy with, Etsy? Don't you know I'm local?
You know what's even better? You made that reference. I was just listening to Cypress Hill. I was literally just listening to them this week. You know what was wild about the game last night that I'm just thinking of for some reason? And I thought of you and I thought of your brother. We were right by the Lookouts dugout, or no, the visiting team dugout. I'm sorry. Fans in back of the dugout, instead of walking in front of that row, would walk on the dugout around, and the security didn't care the whole game. They would just plop on top of the dugout and walk around.
What was the netting situation?
Oh, dude. Entire stadium, Joe. Entire stadium. But what's wild about that stadium is it's right by the freeway. I'm talking right in back of home plate. They have nets outside the stadium on the side so they don't hit cars. It's that close. But yeah, nets all the way around. And they did a wild thing. Kids got to run the bases last night after the game. Dude, the game got over at 10:30. Yeah. My buddies and I were like, who are these parents who are keeping their kids up all night? Like, yeah, you get to run around the bases at school tomorrow. But I thought the dugout thing was wild because it reminded me when we went to the Giants-Mets games.
Yeah.
Your brother kept being like, what would happen if I stood on top of the dugout?
And we were like, you'd get tackled by security and arrested. Yeah.
And he kept being like, really? That would happen?
He's like, but the SEAL's doing it. I'm like, yeah, it's the mascot of the team. There's guys in the dugout, though. Those are players. The one guy's like out on the field with a ball. That's the pitcher, John.
So let John know if he wants to walk on a dugout, he just needs to come to Chattanooga, Tennessee. And it's pretty acceptable down here.
Yeah.
So you still lean towards the Bucks as the team you have the most faith in.
I mean, I just don't know how not to. They're only up 3-2, and it's been a back and forth series, but I think that's the best two quality opponents in a series.
Yeah.
And they're winning road games, and they're coming back late against a good team, and they're scoring against a good defensive team. I just can't. I would have them as my pick to win it all right now because I just don't have a ton of confidence or see a ton of consistency in anybody else. I mean, right now, I kind of feel like it might be a repeat of last year's finals.
I was just gonna say,
I think the Mavs have a chance to, make that a series because I just don't think the Suns have been that consistent either. And I think that, obviously having the best player on the court always gives you a great shot. But without Ja, I don't see, and I know it's hard saying that coming off a 40-point win, but I don't see them, coming all the way back in this series. And what the Warriors showed me last night makes me think that they're suspect.
Well, here's the crazy part. Not just last night. The Warriors on Monday were losing that game for 47 and a half minutes. That was a great game, right? 47 and a half minutes, and they come back at the end to beat Memphis. But my point is, you can make the argument, and it's actually not even a crazy argument. They've dominated the last. They should be up 3-2.
Yeah.
Without Ja Morant.
But without Ja Morant, they're not going on to win a championship.
No.
Let alone if they get out of the series, which they probably won't.
If the Warriors come out slow again, and Memphis is in that game for the first quarter, I could see that. I could see them losing again. You would think they won it because they're at home. I hate them playing in San Francisco. I really do. I just hate it. They always played in Oakland.
That area in Oakland is such a dump, though.
I know, but it's like I don't know. It's a different vibe, you're in San Francisco, and it's all these expensive seats, and you're in downtown. It's just different. I don't know. I get it, dude. I know I keep mentioning this, but God, the more I read Three Ring Circus, it is absolute. You mentioned Kobe earlier briefly. It is amazing that nobody talks about how Kobe Bryant was arguably, again, I'm just through his first 4 years, the worst teammate of all time. It blows my mind that no one talks about how shitty a teammate Kobe Bryant was. You talk about being a Michael Jordan truther, being a Kobe Bryant truther. Read this book. Dude, Jordan hung out with his teammates. Jordan played cards. Jordan engaged with guys. Kobe literally isolated himself from the entire team. Next level.
The thing about Kobe that's amazing is Jordan, okay, he hung out with guys. He played cards, whatever. He punched dudes in the face. He was an asshole as well. Like,
sure.
But there was like a full-on propaganda campaign built around Michael Jordan that to this day still
was with Kobe too. That's what I'm learning.
But I'd argue that Kobe, like, it was never really that hidden. Like, you didn't have to be some basketball diehard to be like, oh, Kobe Bryant's a selfish, ball hogging piece of shit who ran the guy who won 3 NBA Finals MVPs out of town. Like, this is all out there. The idea that anybody is like a Kobe stan is crazy.
Why it is wild to me. So I just read a part in the book where we're at Phil Jackson's first year with the Lakers. So Kobe and Shaq have played 3 seasons together before this year. So we're in the 4th year, which they do win the title. They're Phil's first year. They win 3 in a row. Phil's first 3 years with the Lakers. Anyway, they're in Chicago. And it starts out great because Kobe was so obsessed. I don't think people realize the obsessiveness with Jordan. When they hired Phil, Kobe loved it. And Kobe literally brought Sacred Hoops, his first book, because he's the guy who coached Jordan. And he was all obsessed. So they're in Chicago that year, Phil's first year. So after the game, he's like, I want Kobe to meet Michael off the court. They played against each other. I want him to meet him off the court because I think it'd be good, blah, blah, blah. And it says this in the book. They go to a separate room. Jordan's smoking a cigar. They're hanging out. They meet. He's like, Phil's like, hey, I want you to hang out with Michael, talk to him. Like, I think you guys are similar as far as what you went through and changing the offense. And the first thing Kobe said to Jordan, I mean, it's wild. Jordan's retired at this point. The first thing he says to him is, I can beat you one-on-one. And in the book, it says, Jordan looked at him and he goes, you should. I'm 36 and you're 20. But like, that was his mindset, was like, I can beat you one-on-one was the first thing he said. And they say Jordan just laughed at him and goes, yeah, I know you can. I'm 36. You're 20. You're in your 4th year in the NBA. Like, you're a fucking lunatic. That's your first thing you say, hanging out with your idol. I can beat you because I'm so competitive. I'm the Black Mamba. I got the edge. I can beat you.
You know what my favorite part about this is? You just did the Max Scherzer voice. Now you get it. Yeah, I'll kick your ass one-on-one. Don't fucking touch me. It's all like that whole thing. It's like, that's why I hate that whole attitude. It's like, dude, you just want to be like, this, what an honor, you're my thing, you know what I mean? But you've convinced yourself, like, this is the thing you do. He's a super competitor and I'm going to say I fucking beat him one-on-one. Don't touch me. You're like, all right, enough.
Yeah. Like, what are you doing? Anyway, I can't reiterate it enough. If you want to really get into the bones of his career, at least the early part. And
I also love Andy Ruther just becoming a Jeff Pearlman stan.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Dude, I can't put it down. The other night I was baked out of my mind the first night we got here. Mr. 5 milligram edibles did 7.5 that night, everybody.
Whoa. Figured he was in the woods, couldn't hurt anybody out here.
Yeah.
Full Tony Romo bachelor party, 7.5 milligrams. You and your buddies playing fucking hide and go lookout in Chattanooga.
Yeah. 7.5 milligrams. And so baked. Like, next level. Are we losing a little service here?
You're getting a little choppy.
How's it from your end?
You're getting a little choppy over here.
Anyway, Anyway, I tried to read the book before bed. I've never tried to read Baked Out of My Mind. That did not go well.
Tried to read before bed. I forgot how to read.
It's not that I forgot how to read.
It's like one of those 911 911 calls. One of those 911 calls. Oh my God. No, a 911 call. It's like, hello, I think I've been poisoned. They're like, what's wrong, sir? I can't read. I forgot how to read.
Okay. I'm glad you brought this up. I'm going to pose this question on the show, and then we're going to move on to some football stuff. You brought up 911 call. We're driving back last night, and I'm talking we're up in the mountains. It's basically a one-lane road where you're up there. And it's like 10 miles of just windy roads. It gives me nausea every time we do it. Anyway, my buddy says to me, what would you do if someone came running out of the woods? So how it works is when you're driving, like as we're driving back, the Tennessee River's on our left. There's woods. Again, we're going up a mountain. The river winds through the mountain. He goes, what would you do if someone ran out all bloody? Do you stop?
Yeah, of course you stop. What are you talking
Really?
about? What else would you do?
There's a part of me that thinks you're being set up. I don't know if I'd stop. Dude, we're in like backcountry. I'm just saying, Prano, I think it'd be different if you saw us. We're in like Deliverance. We're staying in.
I understand, but what's the game plan here? There's a crew of fucking Tennessee Deliverance folks in the woods covering themselves in pig's blood so they can steal your iPhone
or murder you.
What you think there are people that are just like murdering for fun out there?
I don't know, man. I don't know if I'd stop. I feel eerie at night driving up this mountain. My buddy said if it's a woman, I stop. If it's a guy, I don't know. And I felt to agree with that.
No, I stop.
You 100% stop.
Yeah, I mean, I assess the situation, but I'd stop. Yeah.
How do you know that person isn't there's not like a Jason type killer around the area or a black bear?
Well, I mean, first of all, if there's a black bear, this guy got away, right? And now I need to help somebody who's been attacked by a bear. How do I know that there's not a horror movie killer running around in a fucking hockey mask? I guess I'm going to take my chances with that one.
That's what I was thinking.
When's the last time you heard a news story about a mass murderer killing people by a lake?
I don't know, man. Somebody running out in the middle of the road, 10:30, 11 at night, all bloody. I feel like it's a setup. And next thing you know, I'm dead and I'm fish bait and I'm bear fucking meat. You
Just
do it?
Just bear fucking meat? Is that meat?
Bear meat.
Meat that a bear just fucks?
Do black bears attack humans, by the way?
I don't know.
Because like we're in black bear country, but they say black bears don't attack as much as like grizzly bears.
Okay. So that's good.
I don't know.
Mostly because they don't have as much mobility in their arms because they're wearing a jacket with all the NBA teams on them.
See what you did there. Well, we have big news in the NFL world the past few days. Tom Brady will become Fox's top commentator to replace Troy Aikman after he retires.
Yep.
I saw your tweets. I looked at him this morning. Going hard at my boy.
I would not go. I didn't even feel like. Was I going hard?
I mean, you're taking digs at the guy.
I took digs at the guy by referencing actual things from his career.
I think this is huge for them. They lose Aikman. This is going to be a huge. We'll see how Brady is in the booth, but it's an upgrade as far as getting people to care, I think. People are going to watch regardless.
Is there anybody who's like a non-football fan that's tuning in for Tom Brady commentary, though? I just think these broadcaster deals are out of control. Especially the standard broadcast deal. I just don't believe that that's drawing anybody in. I don't think it's making anybody do anything. Now, the Manning cast is a separate thing. You're now opening up a whole secondary revenue stream by having these guys there. But like, do you think that the money that they paid Tony Romo, or the money that they paid Drew Brees, have they seen a return on it? And now they're going to pay Tom Brady even more than that. Like, I just don't see it bumping up ratings in any way.
Holy shit. I didn't realize how much he was getting. 10-year, $375 million.
Yeah.
Wow.
Also, how much does Tom Brady hate his family?
Well, I thought that as well. But again, I've argued all these guys, all these former, not all of them, but a lot of these former players and former coaches, they just can't give it up.
I tongue kiss my son 6 times a year. What else does he need from a dad?
I think he's going to be good.
I'm sure he's going to be great.
And I like Kevin Burkhardt. I like the pair. Burkhardt's good. I think he's good at football. He's good at baseball. I think it's a great pairing. A very white booth, I will say. Then again, Romo and Buck were pretty white.
Yeah.
I don't just mean like color wise. I just mean like
personality wise.
Yeah, like very white.
Yeah.
So does that mean this is Brady's last year?
I don't know. I mean, the way that it was reported, it says whenever he finishes. Not even doing a year off. He hasn't even built in a year off.
Yeah, it does make you think, how much does he really not want to be around his family? Because it's the same thing, right? It's not as much, but you're still watching game film. You're still game film. You're going on the road. You're studying all this stuff. You're doing your homework. You have the pre-production meetings. You have all the other things it entails. Look at all the other greats. The greats don't normally, we're talking, Brady is the greatest of all time, or argues the great. The greatest don't normally go into the booth.
Right.
Michael Jordan didn't go into the booth. Joe Montana didn't go into the booth, did he?
No.
No, not that I remember. You don't normally see that.
Magic did.
Magic did. But again, like, Magic's never been argued as like the greatest of all time. He's up there. He's right up there. I did watch the Apple documentary on Magic. Did you?
I did not.
They really gloss over the sex stuff, which is hilarious. Like, they cover the HIV stuff and the sex stuff, but not really. According to his wife, which is the wildest take I've ever seen, Cookie claims she didn't know he had girls in every city and was fucking nonstop for 12 years. Because he didn't marry her until 91.
Right.
And he found out he had HIV like a couple months after they got married. She claimed she had no idea on that. And I laughed out loud when she said that.
Yeah. It just seems like it's this is the new era we're in of sports entertainment, is like a Magic Johnson produced documentary about Magic Johnson, a Michael Jordan produced documentary about Michael Jordan, a Tom Brady produced documentary about Tom Brady. The 10-part Derek Jeter documentary that's coming out by Jeter, by Respect with the number 2 Productions. It's not going to mention that he's the worst defensive shortstop that ever walked planet Earth.
That's what's crazy. Now, Magic's not technically a producer on this, but 2 of the main producers are Magic Johnson Enterprise employees. So his actual company did produce it. But again, the common person, I don't think, does the homework. I always look, who's producing this? Who's writing this? Who's in charge of this? There's got to be some angle or spin. And you're right. It is pretty amazing. Now these stories are not being told by an unbiased party. They're being told by themselves.
Right. It's the difference between a biography and an autobiography.
100%. And it was entertaining. Don't get me wrong. It's different than Winning Time. And I like to see some of the things in it, but he's also getting the final say, like you're saying. And Dude, you can't gloss over. You can't gloss your thing, and they focus a lot on the HIV and the work he did and all that, but you can't gloss over how you got the HIV.
Well, I'm not sure he knows, but he knows, you know, the lifestyle that led to it.
Sure. And I like Magic. I'm not sitting here trying to take digs at Magic. I think he's not only one of the greatest players, I've only heard good things. I used to work at a bar in LA, and a guy had done a lot of work at Magic's house, and he only had good things to say about him. He's the nicest guy, and I was the handyman and doing stuff like that. And he's takes care of you financially, and he's nice, and he's cool. So I've only heard good things, but come on, man. It'd be like me glossing over how fucking ridiculous I used to be. Like, I was a train wreck. I was out of control.
It would be the Andy Ruther documentary where one day you just decided you were going to be sober.
Yeah.
Like, and that's when I decided to turn my life around and get sober.
100%.
They're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. What about the time you woke up in downtown LA bleeding from the ear?
Yeah.
And doctors said you had to be sober. No, I found Jesus. Turned my life around.
That's exactly what it would be. Did you see that Jags kicker Josh Lambo is suing Urban Meyer
for kicking him?
Dude, this is nuts.
Love to hear it. You fucking love to hear it.
Former Jags kicker Josh Lambo filed a lawsuit against the team this week on Tuesday, alleging that the former head coach created a hostile work environment and the team did nothing to stop it. He's claiming he violated Florida's civil, criminal, and employment law concerning assault, battery, and workplace environment in furtherance of the employee's interest. Now, Lambo made $3.5 million last year. This is pretty crazy, though.
Yeah, but he should fucking sue his boss. He should sue a coach who kicked him. Because here's the thing: if he beat the shit out of Urban Meyer for kicking him, Urban Meyer would have sued him.
The lawsuit alleges that the physical and verbal abuse impacted Lambo's ability to perform at the level he had during his previous 6 seasons.
I love this. Fuck Urban Meyer.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't like Urban Meyer, but I also just feel like we're suing the guy. Like, you're trying to get money out of this. You made $3.5 million last year.
Well,
did you really have emotional distress from just a dick? He was just a dick.
I think there's a lot. I think there's a lot of different things. Like, maybe he takes that money and it goes to charity or whatever. Like, the New York Giants just Graham Gano and Thibodeau just did a deal for the number 5 for him, and he last year Jabril Peppers wanted it and Gano wouldn't give it up, and Jabril Peppers said he wanted too much money, and they do a deal, and now Gano's giving all that money to charity. So it's like, for a good point, to make a point, like I like him suing Urban Meyer to make a point, not to make money, but to make a point. I'm an adult. You're an adult. The difference between me and you, I'm a professional athlete. You're an old ass piece of shit. I can't beat the shit out of you because you kick me and yell at me or whatever. And the idea that you think that you can, no, fuck you. I'm going to sue you. I like that.
Okay. You convinced me from that angle.
And I'm not a very litigious person, but to prove a point.
Where's Urban Meyer go? I was discussing this when I saw this lawsuit. I was discussing this with my buddies up here. Like, we were saying, what's the move? He's only 57, Joe. So, does he, will a TV let him back in a few years? Does he go to a small
Does anybody give a shit what Urban Meyer has to say again from a TV standpoint? Like, I would just assume some football program that's desperate to turn itself around,
That's where he goes. Yeah, I agree. I don't think TV. He finds a small school and then he just builds himself back up again. Again, he's only 57. And then by the
Yeah.
time he's 62, he's coaching a Power Five school again. Like that's the move. So they're releasing football schedules today.
Is it today?
Dude, the NFL is wild. They've turned everything into a holiday.
And I think this schedule thing is dumb. Can you just like what are we doing here?
Give us a schedule.
Just give us a schedule. Like stop. I hate this the schedule release, and then we have a whole show breaking down. It's like it doesn't fucking matter. Like the as soon as you guys have the schedule, why don't you just release it? That way, I can make plans to come see your games. I can plan tour dates around your games. I can make travel plans around your games. No, you're like dangling it out there, holding it over. It's like, ugh, I want to support you guys, and you're fucking making it hard.
Yeah.
A little nibble here, a little nibble there.
The official release will be 8 p.m. tonight on the NFL Network. It is crazy. I mean, it's the number. I'm on Dirty Sports Twitter right now. It's the number 11 trend right now in the country, the 2022 NFL schedule release. Like people all day are just anticipating. I am looking briefly right now, though. The hardest schedule from based on last year's opponent win percentage is the Rams. Again, based on how the teams performed last year. The Rams is the hardest. The Cardinals is the second hardest. The Bengals is the third hardest. The Bucks fourth hardest. The Niners fifth hardest.
Right, because you had 3 NFC West teams in the playoffs last year. And so they're all playing each other twice. Then the Rams, who won the division, are playing a first place schedule otherwise. So yeah, that makes all makes sense.
Sure. And Bengals and Bucks both won their divisions. They have a first place schedule.
Yeah.
What was that text Randy Ruther sent us?
About his scooter?
He bought a scooter.
Yeah.
with his Cincinnati Bengals earnings.
Yeah, that's the most Randy Ruther thing I've ever seen. What I bought with my Bengals winnings, I'm gonna have to get a sidecar to pick you up if any of you come to Phoenix. It's just like a little like scooter with a seat, little electric scooter. Randy, I can't believe you didn't get tiger stripes painted on it. Forget the sidecar. Why doesn't this thing have a tail?
When you ask things like, yeah, who the schedule release? Like he's that guy.
Yeah.
Like Randy Ruther's that guy who's
Randy.
Yeah. Right. Like he's tuning in to closely watch to see what games the Bengals get on prime time, which they'll get a lot this year. That's going to be a crazy division, don't you think?
It is going to be a crazy division.
Right. With Lamar coming back. Now you have Deshaun Watson. Steelers are always competitive. That's going to be a wild division. Okay, we have a few calls. Do you want to get to the calls? I know we're going to keep it a little shorter today. You got shit to do. I'm
sure
on a little vacay.
Let's get to some calls.
Okay.
Mets game's already on here in the background. Little Mets day game.
I think we have a prime TMS candidate here. And I thought of this, and now we have a call about it.
Great.
What's going on, boys? Tyler Aronofsky calling back once again from beautiful Toms River, New Jersey, home of the 1998 Little League World Series champions. Since about 3 years ago when Joe Perino literally fixed my life with Dr. John Sarno's book, Healing Back Pain, the Mind-Body Connection. When I see athletes and stuff with back injuries, sometimes you can put the pieces together and know that it's fraudulent, that it's just TMS. Obviously, Tiger Woods. And Ben Simmons, too, right? I don't think you guys have talked about this. Dude had mental stuff, and stress and anxiety. Now he's getting a back surgery for some herniated disc, which like 95% of the population has. Seems a little fishy. Big Pussy in Sopranos, he had TMS most likely. Went down to Puerto Rico, and he went down when he was under there, he ate her out and shit. Great scene. Rest in peace, Big Pussy. And also Ruther, last episode talking about how the townhouse drugged you and they drug people. When I was in LA, December 19th, 2019, you offered to take myself, Twerks, Jesus, and Tug to Townhouse, but we didn't go because the cover was like $35. Can you explain yourself, please? We ended up going to some Irish bar. Tug won. Condoms are for Townhouse, and Big Pussy's cop buddy, Skip Lipari. That dude was terrible, and he had a terrible lip.
Well, we mentioned this on the show the other day.
Yeah.
We knew Townhouse drugged us, yet we all continued to go there.
Yeah, it was a good bar.
I mean, it was a great bar.
I almost went there last night.
It's a great bar.
And instead went to Jameson's, where you guys went with Twerks and Tug.
That's what I'm saying, Kyle. Like, we knew I was drugged there maybe twice. The true story is
I just started paying cash. That's what happened to me. Just started paying cash.
As bad as it sounds,
they drug you for credit cards.
Yeah, I almost felt like I forgot that they drugged me. Like, it was never on the tip of my mind, like top of my mind. I think Ben Simmons is a prime TMS candidate.
100%.
Didn't he date one of the Jenners for a while?
Yeah, no.
I mean, with that Kardashian stress.
But I mean, we had him missing games of like mental, like, yeah, 100. I would say 100% TMS.
Yeah.
And for anybody, like Kyle said, it's a John Sarno, Dr. John Sarno thing. Yeah, healing back thing. And like you mentioned, it's like this is what people with recurring back pain do. My back. I mean, it's nonsensical, honestly, that throughout, modern history, people will be like, my back is out. And then it's just like out for a day, and then you don't fix anything, and then it's back.
Makes no
and then it goes out again. Yeah. And then people are like, no, it's just what happens. Sometimes your back goes out. And it's like, no, it doesn't. And then what happens is you go and you get, a doctor to look at your back, and they're like, oh, you got this slip disc, you got this fucking fused vertebrae, you've got blah, 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 which every single person basically on planet Earth has, and they just don't know about it because they don't get it, go get it looked at. And then it's like, oh, that must be it. That must be every time the Jenners bother me, my back goes out. Must be that slip disc. When I get traded to Brooklyn and the fans fucking scream at me that I'm not playing, that's why my back locks up. Get it together, Ben Simmons. No, Ben Simmons, prime TMS candidate. Absolutely. Good call, Kyle.
Yeah, that needs to be more prevalent with athletes. That book, Healing Back Pain. I'm the same way. Lately, I've been having some neck pain because he says in the book it'll move too, right?
Yeah.
I've battled the back pain, the TMS back pain. And lately, I've had the same thing. Oh, suddenly my neck didn't hurt today? Oh, wait, but then it hurts again tomorrow because something came up and I'm stressed about something.
Not hurt when you're on vacation.
Hasn't hurt at all. Not a damn bit. It might hurt if we see a snake again. There was a snake in the water. I would not. This is like water moccasin country, dude. Those fucking things are poisonous. Would you jump back in a river if you saw a snake in it?
Absolutely not.
I think my buddies are down there right now swimming.
I'm not coming to Tennessee now because of that snake. You're talking about bloody people coming out of the woods. I'm way more scared of snakes. I would more likely help a bloody person running out of the woods if I saw a hockey masked guy with a chainsaw behind them than I would go near a lake that I know a snake is in.
I agree. The snake, like the shark thing, never creeped me out. Dude, my buddies came back yesterday and they're like, dude, we saw a snake by the dock in the water. And I was like, what? I was like, I don't want to fucking jump in the river today. Because snakes that can go in water.
Creepy.
You're watching that Mets game, aren't you?
Yeah, base hit, bases loaded, base hit. 2 should come in to score. Mark Canha, the first inning, 2 RBI single, and the Mets lead 2-0. Trying to take this series to continue not losing a single series yet.
All right, let's get a USFL call.
Hey, Joe and Andy, it's number 1 dirt baller from South Bend, Indiana, Stephen Dermer calling. So I've just been thinking about this whole USFL, and I'm a huge football fan. I mean, every weekend I'm watching college football Saturdays, NFL on Thursdays, Sundays, Mondays. My wife hates it, but I've been trying to get into this USFL. You know, it's football, but goddamn, is that shit so fucking boring. I turn it on and I can't watch more than 5 minutes of it. I mean, there's no fans in the stands. The players are, I wouldn't even call them average. I mean, they're good, but these guys are nowhere near NFL caliber. And I just don't understand why they tried to make this whole league, and now it's just going to completely bust when nobody's going to the games. Nobody's really trying. I mean, it seems like I don't think I've watched one game where I've known one player that has actually been decent or done anything worth a shit. But just want to see what you guys think about the whole thing. And thanks, guys. Stay dirty.
I haven't watched a single down, and I won't.
Me either.
But here's what's crazy. I just looked it up. Dude, these primetime Saturday and Sunday games, they're still getting over 1 million viewers.
Yeah.
Like think about that in context. They're still getting over 1 million viewers, that'd be like one of the highest rated shows on CNN if that happened, or a cable news show. Like that's what's crazy to me is 1 million people are still putting this on, even if it's background noise.
Yeah. People love football. No, I haven't watched a single down either. I mean, that's the thing. You know, you're catering to those 1 million people that just like don't want to watch baseball or playoff football or playoff hockey, just like full on only football fans, football only fans. Why don't you just sell pictures of football players' feet instead? That's football. That's a better football only fans.
Yeah. I know. It's nuts to me. Like who are these 1 million people? Like you said, who don't care about baseball, don't care about basketball, don't care about hockey. Because that's a lot of these time slots that they're competing against. And who knows? The XFL is starting next year. Like I just don't know. The attendance is terrible.
XFL right. Again?
Yes. I just don't know how fiscally this works, how financially they can make money or even break even. Nobody's at these games. The USFL I did see is they're in cities that have NFL teams. That's what I never got. Not all of them, but some of them. Why are you in a city that already has an NFL team? Make your team Chattanooga or some shit.
Yeah.
I mean, how many of the guy wearing an American jersey, not even American flag, he's just wearing an America jersey. Like he's your market.
But he likes baseball.
But he stayed the whole game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who your market is for that. By the way, the guy who did the announcing, I'm not trying to take a dig, but I am. The guy on the field at the Lookouts game, you know, who's interviewing the kids for the games and all the stuff you do. Most days it's like a young guy. This guy just looks so just beaten down by life. Like he was in a suit jacket and he was dressed kind of funny. And he's just like, our special announcer for the lineup this inning is, and he got some kid, and the kid was so bad. They had the kid announce every batter, not just the first batter of like the third inning, every batter of the third inning. And he laughed every single time the kid said the name, just in the kid's face on the screen.
To be fair, that guy's life's a bit of a struggle. He can't go anywhere without worrying about water snakes and horror movie murderers. It's a pretty stressful area.
Tell me about it, man.
He's got crippling back pain because of all the stress of avoiding murderers and snakes.
I'm scared. I'm scared to go down to the dock today now. Stop bringing it up. The minute this ends, we're going to get this bad boy up and go down to the dock.
Andy, Forbes just released their list of highest paid professional athletes. Top 10. You want to guess them?
The top two got to be soccer guys.
Top 3 of the top 4 are soccer guys.
Ronaldo, Messi.
Yep.
And
Neymar.
I was just gonna say Neymar.
Messi 1, LeBron James 2. Ronaldo 3, Neymar 4. Then we get 2 basketball players back to back, 5 and 6. Those are Kevin Durant 6, Curry 5.
Who's Curry 5?
Curry 5, Durant 6, Roger Federer 7, Canelo Alvarez 8, Tom Brady gonna rise on this list in a few years when he's making TV money 9, and Giannis Antetokounmpo 10.
Now, this is salary with endorsements.
Yeah. Well, LeBron James isn't making $121 million from the Lakers, so
yeah, I'd love to see what these guys actually see though, with Uncle Sam and agents and lawyers. I mean, I'm not feeling sorry for them. I'd love to see what they actually net gain right there. Not surprising. What's number 1? Is that Ronaldo?
Lionel Messi, 130 million.
130 million. Man, I should have never quit soccer. Should have never given it up, man. That could be me. I could own this fucking mountain. Look out, mountain's mine, bitches. Okay. We have a call for you.
Oh boy. Here we go.
I feel like you and the guy who calls himself Jew, he likes to poke you on the Mets.
Okay.
I didn't fully listen to it, to be honest, because it was right before the show that I was listening to these, but I'm going to play it. I just heard something about the Mets, so we'll see what he has to say.
What's up, fellas? This is Jew. I want to talk a little bit about some baseball. Joe, first question's for you. So as a Mets fan who obviously, just like all Mets fans, just envy the Yankees so much, I'm sure this year is really going to be hard for you. The Mets are finally confident and doing really good, and the Yankees are the best team in baseball. So my question for you is, as a Mets fan, would you rather the Mets go to the World Series and lose to the Yankees in the World Series, or be a 100-loss team? Which would you prefer? Just the agony of losing in the World Series again to the Yankees, or just being a dog shit team and not even give a shit about them. And Ruther, question for you. Now that you've given up on the Reds like you did the Bengals, what are your top 10 teams now that you follow in baseball? Just let us know later.
Wow, the digs at you with the Yanks, Joe.
Well, here's the thing with Yankees fans. So first of all, obviously I'd rather go to the World Series than be a 100-loss team. The Yankees went on a nice run there. Yankees started off kind of slow, and then the Yankees went on a nice run. They beat the Orioles, then they beat the Orioles, then they beat the Orioles, then they beat the Tigers, then they beat the Tigers, then they beat the Guardians, and they beat the Guardians, and they beat the Guardians, and they beat the Orioles, and they beat the Orioles, then they beat the Orioles, then they beat the Royals, and they beat the Royals. It's like, guys, did you have 12 straight games against the worst 4 teams in baseball? Did you in a row? Jew, put your money where your mouth is. I don't care about how many games were won in the regular season. I care about who goes further. I will wager, Jew, and I've said no more wagers with DirtBalls. But I will wager because I trust Jew has money that the Mets go further in the playoffs.
Ooh.
Further in the postseason. The Mets will play further this year than the Yankees. Why? I'm sure beating up with your 2 true outcomes on the Orioles and the Royals and the Texas Rangers in your little league ballpark is nice, but that's not what wins championships. And you know that because you guys haven't won a championship since 2009. What wins championships is pitching. We got some. You don't. Let's fucking go.
I like this. I like this little New York rivalry bet.
I love it. It's like, so we're so envious of the Yankees. No, what we're envious of as Mets fans is that you guys always spent more than anybody else. And now you guys, I mean, our owner takes shits worth more than the Steinbrenner family. The New York Mets owner literally has art that no one knows what it is sitting in his front lawn that's worth more than the New York Yankees franchise. So, how the tables have turned.
I have not given up on the Reds, for the record. Remember, I said I'm taking a year off. Let's see how this plays out. Hence, I'm going to see their minors, dude. We already discussed with my buddies. We went to Chattanooga. I'm going to go to Dayton, which apparently that's the single A team. They say they sell out every game. They say it's like a triple A ballpark. It's state of the art. And I'm going to go to Louisville, where the Reds' actual triple A team is. They have a huge stadium. It's like 13,000, which is big for minors. I'm just going to say, I still see every game. As far as I don't watch, I look at the score. You know, I'm not giving up. Like I'm just saying, let's see how this plays out. Minor league games are fun, man. Like last night's game, I'm not just saying it's like we really enjoyed that. It was a fun game, fun prices, and you're sitting right behind home plate for $13,
and it's just watching some baseball.
It's just watching some baseball. And who can't love a stoner named Bird playing first base?
You were at a minor league ballpark. You know, everything's smaller, seats, less seats, cheaper beer, everything. The distance of the home runs is longer than Yankee Stadium still, though. But, it's not, they don't play in a minor league ballpark. They play in a little league ballpark.
Shots fired. I don't know where you're at on social, but you should DM Joe. I want this bet solidified. I think this is a good dirty sports bet. I would side with Prano on this one too. I didn't realize that's who the Yankees beat in that big long win streak.
And they got like 6 more games against the Orioles coming up. And then, is your 18 games against the Orioles for this season over?
Yeah. 310-359-8365. That is our hotline. Give us a ring. Let us know what you think. Call in with any questions. You can also DM us. We're open in the DMs at The Dirty Sports on Twitter and Instagram, or myself at Andy Ruther.
I am at Joe Prano on all social media. Just posted a new clip on TikTok. New clip coming on Instagram soon when our boy, the Nick D'Alessandro, gets back to me with my edit. And follow me at Joe Prano on all social media, except for Twitter, where I'm still at Fix Your Life.
I'm so glad you brought this up because I put this in the rundown and forgot to mention it. A couple of things I forgot to mention. One, speaking of Yankees fans, forgot to say this during the call. Talk about cucks. There was a cuck couple last night at the Lookouts Braves game. There was a couple sitting a few rows behind us, holding hands during the game, both wearing matching Aaron Judge Yankee jerseys at a Reds-Braves AA game. Every single other person, no lie, in the stadium either had Reds or Braves gear or Lookouts gear. That's Yankee fans for you. A matching couple, Aaron Judge. I don't think he ever played for either of these affiliates ever. Also, I was curious about the Sod Poodle Stadium, Hodgetown. So I was like, I wonder how it compares to the stadium I went to last night, which was AT&T Park. Dude, you're not going to believe this. I go to the roster for the Sod Poodles. They now have a player named Nick D'Alessandro.
No.
Swear to God.
A third Nick D'Alessandro.
What's going on with this? He's listed as, I'm looking at his baseball reference right now. He's listed as a catcher, left fielder, and right fielder. A third Nick D'Alessandro. What is happening? Is there like an AI glitch going on here?
Yeah. It's just a fit. If your last name is D'Alessandro, for some reason Nick just fits.
Yeah. Hey, he plays for the Saudis.
Yeah.
Absolutely crazy.
I got some shows this week. West Side Comedy Theater tomorrow night. Great show at our friends Minimal Minimal Golf Club now in Redondo. They have a half pipe. They have 2 golf simulators. They're putting up a beautiful stage. They're making me a version 2.0 of our bag. And I'm going to throw this out there, Andy. Maybe raffle off my 1.0 bag to DirtBalls. Maybe I sell some raffle tickets. Winner gets the original 1.0 version.
Ooh.
Profits go to charity.
We could do something. Or we got something else in the works coming too. We can maybe partner with that.
Tweet, DM, whatever. See, let me know if that's something you'd be interested in. Maybe like $5 or $10 raffle tickets, and then we'll just draw a name. Winner gets my 1.0 bag, which obviously has my face on it. Comes with a speaker, solar panel, filming pocket for our golfing endeavors. It's a little beat up. I've put it through some good use of the last year, but it is, so was the smut couch. People bought that.
Yeah, they did.
So come check out the Minimal Golf Comedy Show, emceed by the great Redondo local, former guest of the show, Chris Wilde. Janelle Draper will be on, Allie Colbert, Mike Falzone, myself. It's going to be a great show this weekend. And then just follow joeprano.com for all my other dates. Lots of them coming up.
All right. Well, we're doing it. I'm going to end this show on Central Time. Walk down the street loaded on Eastern Time. I'm not doing that because there's snakes and there's people who are serial killers. Not doing that. All right, guys, that is our show. Thanks for sticking around. We will be back on Monday as usual. So enjoy your weekend.